Diagwichaharja Agisfelcha. We are back in Scotland for the final time. This is really sad for me. I have so thoroughly enjoyed reliving my trip to Scotland through this series with you. And can I just say, it's definitely made me cry a couple times. And look, I'm not trying to be over sentimental. I cry over places. I cry when I listen to music. I cry when I see a tree. I feel like my emotional connection to the world lives through aspects of nature, aspects of energy. Maybe you feel the same way. I'm just so moved when I experience a place, and I think this is why I love travel so much. When I experience a place, when I experience a culture, and I feel rooted there for a time. When I have such a beautiful experience in a place and I'm able to imprint a piece of myself on that memory in that space, that's magic to me. Anyway, I won't bore you with my sentimentality. I am so excited to go back to Scotland with you. Thank you for traveling with me. I think it's been super fun, and I hope you've had a great time too. Okay, today we're starting off in Nairn, I love that word, Nairn Beach, beautiful. And the thing that I love about Scottish beaches, everyone that I've been to, there is this rawness and realness and wildness about a Scottish beach. Maybe it's the way the wind whips and sings. Maybe it's the angle that the water shoots up and rakes across the beach with its fingers. But there is such a realness to this landscape, I think, in such a different way from what I've seen in the United States. And look, I'm not trying to exoticize this space, but I think I've communicated through these videos and through the thoughts I've shared with you both there and here, how I connect so deeply to this beautiful wildness of space that is preserved in these places. That's all I'll say on that. I hope you enjoy seeing the beauty of Nairn Beach. Then we pop over to one of my favorite castles that I visited in Scotland, and I visited a lot, Duffus Castle. It is a castle, but it is a ruin. And I think there's a lot of really interesting preserved areas of this space where we can see what life might have been like for this settlement. And I love that. Your girl is an archaeologist at heart. All I want to do is get into a ruin and pick around and look and sniff and see the space for what it was, see the space for what it could have been, how the progression of time moved and changed the space. I love a ruin, I love a castle. We'll see more of those. Then we're going to Lossiemouth. This is something that I missed out on the first time when I went to Elgin, and I was bitter about it. I was bitter about it. Almost my entire wedding party got to experience this place, and I was salty about it. So what did I do? I corrected that. Again, beautiful, wild space, windy, gorgeous, sunny, great weather, cold as heck. We talk about a cold plunge here. Try it in Scotland. I also love the name Lossiemouth. It feels very magical to me. Then we're back drinking more whiskey at Glen Moray Distillery. Another beautiful space, which is actually where we got our wedding whiskey because we got married in Elgin, which is where Glen Moray is located. So this was a very special trip back for us. We did not get to visit the Glen Moray Distillery on our first trip to Scotland. I got wasted, and I don't know if we have footage of this, and if not, maybe I can find some on my phone. But I got so drunk at this distillery. We had dinner reservations after, so it was like dinner time. I was hungry. There was nothing in my stomach. Your girl made a mistake. Anyway, I had to try everything. We go back to Elgin, climb this hill. I think it was still before we were like waiting around to go to our dinner reservation because we still had time. So we climbed this hill. The folklore around this specific hill in Elgin is that at the top of this hill was one of Macbeth's castles. So I'm drunk, climbing this hill on all fours. And the previous year, during my wedding year, I was climbing that hill in 6-inch heels because we went there with our friends to see the Northern Lights after we had all had our rehearsal dinner. So I'm on all fours climbing this hill, and I pretty much just fell asleep in one of the ruins. Then we pop back to the Cairngorms again, got to see more trees. That's the vibe, right? Because the aesthetic, trees and ruins. And then we get another yap from past Sean. So I won't spoil that for you. I'll leave you to enjoy that. Thank you so much for joining me in Scotland. I hope this has been as wonderful for you as it was for me. I treasured this trip, and I cannot wait to go back and see the Highlands again, my very special place. So again, Gaurav Mayagat for joining me here. Thank you for joining me here. And stay tuned. The travel is not over. We're heading to Ireland next. And Slán go fóill. Till next time. Nairn is stunning. I love to see blue for miles. I've talked to you before about my love for liminal spaces, and the beach is one of my top favorite liminal places. There's an energy here of transmutation, of leaving behind, of renewing. I've always felt something greater at the beach, or someone greater. It is believed in many of the Celtic language-speaking areas that the other world lies just beyond the ninth wave. This is a little bit of lore that has stuck in my mind for many years, and I think it's why I feel so drawn to this landscape. I'm also very much a crow at heart. I love to collect things that have been left behind on the beach by nature. Duffus Castle may have just been my favorite castle we visited in Scotland. Maybe it was the relation to my ancestral surname, or maybe it was just an energy of the space. How much of its history was plain to see on the walls and floors that had retained over time. You could see storehouse spaces, kitchens, pantries, stables, even latrines. But there was evidence of life being lived here so many years ago. It makes us realize that these people were not so very different from us, and they lived lives that maybe were similar. I walked what felt like miles around this courtyard, my hands scraping the walls, feeling the history beneath my fingertips. A line and a connection to those who built these walls, stone by stone. I am a very big fan of whiskey, and I have to say, I have to tip my hat to Glen Moray. They really did a lot for my love, appreciation, and education of whiskey.
England by Lotus. The company that made her made them so well. Okay, so we can store 3 types of flowers, and the palletized one we can store 7 high. Up the way, and the palletized one. Nobody knows which cask. So once we take from the bourbon cask, we can
They are going left to right across the panels facing you as to the bottom of the sheet. So the Elgin Classic is the starter one. It's again about caramel, butterscotch, toffee, vanilla, bit of apple as which is mentioned there sometimes. So quite a nice light one. Second, you've already tried the 12.
Lady Hill is a special place for us. This is where we got to watch the Northern Lights with our wedding party the night before our wedding. We climbed up to Macbeth's castle and we laid probably in his foyer. The sky goes for 1,000,000 miles up here. It's so peaceful and quiet. The Cairngorms were a very special place, full of beautiful hikes and trees, and the best place to connect with nature. We went to Rothiemurchus Park, known for its ancient Caledonian pine trees, and Lochen Island, a 14th century castle ruin on an island in the middle of a loch. Walking under these majestic green giants was like stepping back into the Jurassic era. It felt like it was just me and the trees. Tree spirits are such valuable land spirits. In my personal practice, I have a relationship with many evergreen tree spirits, and seeing so many in such a beautifully preserved space with so many bilberry bushes in bloom was so meaningful. The energy here was palpable. It was as alive as its history was. Lochen Island was one of the residences of the Wolf of Badenoch, the son of a king who in 1390 burned down Elgin Cathedral, the place of my wedding. Of course, not during my wedding, I'm not that old. From here, we went further into the Cairngorms and stopped at more ruins along the way. Are you surprised? The more ruined a place is, the more I seem to like it. Blairfindie Castle was very, very cool. This caught my special attention. I am so glad we went here. It's located on the Glen Moray estate, and I think what I liked so much about the general architecture of this space was that it was just so tall. It really stood head and shoulders above many of the other ones. I'm sorry. But what really knocked me over was what was living inside. Blairfindie Castle was the residence of a very large, multi-generational family of crows. And what I found interesting and really quite lovely was that crow houses were built inside of Blairfindie Castle to protect these crows. Immediately, the crows were very disturbed and crabby that I was there, but let me tell you, I couldn't have been happier in that moment. They even gave me something to remember them by. Just one more ruin, maybe, as a palate cleanser. Stumble upon a ruin, stumble upon a grave. Not literally, of course, but we did find this beautiful cemetery also on the Glen Moray estate. I love them so much. It is our final day here in Scotland at the beautiful Loch Moy house that we have rented for the last 10 days, and I couldn't be more sad. I love it here. I love Scotland in general, but this has been the break and reset that I've needed. You can't fix burnout with just a trip abroad, but it helps. But over this past year, I have just been so deeply burnt out and depressed, since the year started. Neighbor's dog. I feel like I've just been kind of floating. I feel like a lot of us feel that way. It's just been so hard to cope with all of these stressors going on politically, economically, socially. So there's just been a lot of stress and a lot of pressure with both my work and personal life. I've just been really struggling to cope and not really discussing it because I just don't, it just makes me feel worse too. So I've kind of just been pushing it down. And I'm so tired. I'm so achingly tired. Sitting out here in the sun, listening to the lambs and the birds, it just makes me want to work for a life like this that I really want. Somewhere rural, somewhere secluded, somewhere to just be at peace. And it really puts things into perspective, you know, it's about peace. It's about holding on to your peace and preserving your peace. And this world is not gentle. A lot of us are barely keeping up. And it sucks because I really just want to have that peace in my life. That is like the thing that I've always wanted. And I want that for my friends, and I want that for my family. And it's hard. It makes me very contemplative, sitting in a beautiful place like this with the sun shining on me, a different world than my own. And it reminds me that I need to fight for my peace. I'm not sure how we got here in this ramble, but I hope this is also a reminder for you to fight for your peace, fight for what you deserve, no matter who or what is putting pressure on you to bend and to break. Remember, if a tree bends and breaks, it grows a new limb. It grows a new branch, it grows a new leaf every year. I think we just all need to recognize that this is a hard world, but we need to get through it together, and we need to support each other. Clearly, the depression is seeping back in on this last day. It's hard to leave this beautiful place, this euphoria, because it has just been absolutely perfect. It's hard to go back. Let's just leave it at that. But I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this Scotland vlog. It was a joy to make. It was so much fun visiting all these locations. I cannot wait to be back in this country. I love this country. I could see myself living here soon. I could see myself just, you know, leaving it all behind and moving to Scotland. A girl can dream. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. If there's something different, new, interesting that you want to see, please put it in the comments below. I love travel content, so I hope you do too. And I hope this has inspired you to make your own travels and make your own way and visit this country or visit other countries, visit other places, step outside of your comfort zone and just do it and experience it, because you only get one life in this body. So make it count. I love you. Stay well, stay safe, be kind, be very kind, especially at times like these, and support each other. See you on the next one. You're not going to want to miss the next one. We may be away from Scotland, but we are off on another adventure, so stay tuned. Love you guys. Slankafol.